Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington. This is the show, and that is the website where you can go to learn how to date as your authentic, introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Speaking of which, alert, on this coming Friday, June 19th, I'll be releasing my entire catalog of shows from my previous podcast, which is the Stop Losing Women podcast. A lot of you guys have been writing me saying, Harry, we love your new show, but we want the archives of the last one also to get you more information. Where can I get it? And I took that show down 2 years ago to start this show. But for those of you that have been asking for it, it will be available on a subscription-based service starting this Friday. So there'll be a link at the website that you can go to get access to those shows, okay? And I'll talk all about that in the very next podcast. But in the meantime, today's show, we are answering a question from a guy who's in a bit of a pickle because his girlfriend recently found pictures of other women being sent to him on various social media platforms. And now he's wondering what he should do. Should he apologize? Should he not? Should he continue no contact? What should he be doing to try to get her back? He has no idea. And so we're definitely going to talk about that today. For these shows and more, by the way, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com as well as iTunes and as well as YouTube. Also, if you want to support this show, you can join on Patreon. You'll get access to these shows a week before anybody else. You can find the link to the Patreon as well as other means of support by going to the tip jar tab at the website. You can also go to the website to check out my eBooks, check out my various free trainings. And of course, if you yourself need one-on-one coaching, click on the coaching tab and we can set that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this guy's situation because this guy is in quite the pickle. And it goes a little something like this. He says, 2 days ago, my girlfriend had seen some suggestive pictures I received through Instagram and WhatsApp from other women. I'm definitely not unfaithful, but I won't lie. I always got to keep other women ready to jump in case stuff goes bad. Now, obviously, she's very angry with me and she's giving me the silent treatment, but I'm not chasing either. I haven't texted her since and I haven't apologized because that would indicate guiltiness. Or should I reach out and apologize once? I'm decent at getting the girls, but I absolutely suck at long-term relationships, in my opinion, because I just keep acting like I'm still trying to get her, i.e. push-pull, withdrawing attention, etc. Or is that the right way? I don't even know. Like she says, my actions show I don't love her sometimes, so I'm pretty clueless. Okay, let's just go ahead and get this out the way, okay? When you were in a dating relationship, like you legit have a girlfriend, not just like you're just going on various dates and getting to know each other, but like you guys are in a committed relationship. That is the point at which there should be no other women that you actively have in your scope or sphere that are going to be able to send you or text you anything. And if they are, you're deleting it. So this means that if you're seriously in a relationship with somebody, you shouldn't be following models and other various types of women that are of a certain level of attractiveness and models and stuff like that on Instagram. You shouldn't be trying to message them. And if they're sending you messages that are of that nature, you should definitely be either deleting them or deleting them from your profile altogether, because that is disrespectful. And you know, as a guy, you know that if you found out that she has some muscular Hollywood type guys all up in her DMs trying to get at her, even if she wasn't hollering back, you'd feel some kind of way. You'd be like, well, why aren't you deleting these texts? If they don't mean anything to you, why are these pictures still in your phone? Do you like their bodies more than mine? You know you'd be saying that. So why would you then allow other women to like send you stuff like that and keep it? Like, oh my gosh. And that's the situation. But anyway, so there's that part of it. And then there's also the part where it's like, why did she have access to your phone? Like, I don't agree with what you were doing, but if you're gonna be that way, how would she get access to your phone in the first place? Like, did you give it to her and say, hey, check my phone, do whatever, or you can make a call on it, whatever. Like, there had to be a way that she was able to see that. Unless you were just hanging with her and decided to check the pictures while she was around. Like, that's a dumbass move. You don't do that either. So there's a lot of disrespect going on here. Like, I don't condone this, but if you were doing it in front of her, I definitely don't condone that, because that's just a whole different level of rude altogether. But that being said, here's an interesting thing, okay? Because this guy mentioned, he said, I suck at long-term relationships because I keep acting like I'm still trying to get her. So there's a few things here. For one, there is this thing that I believe in called the sabotage theory, which is that a lot of times people will try to sabotage the thing that they have that's great because they secretly don't believe that they deserve it. And I know there are a lot of introverts in particular that there's a part of them that wants to get back to being by themselves, and there's also part of them that's like, when they finally do get a girlfriend, it's just so weird for them because they're not used to having somebody that wants to be around them so much. And so they'll actually start doing things that will result in them getting more alone time, or the woman rejecting them for a reason that he was able to control happening versus her leaving and him not knowing what was going on. Okay. So, and those are a lot of people that like either they had situations growing up where they were damaged in some way, or they just never really got acclimated to the right kind of social situation that made them feel comfortable. And that's something that you have to decide for yourself. But there's another thing that people don't talk about, which is that learning to become good with women can become a habit. It can become very addictive. And for people that were late bloomers in the dating game, and this is true for a lot of introverts that like, we don't get really comfortable with being around other people in general, let alone around women that we want to date until we're like in our late 20s or so. So when that happens, usually what that means is there was a skill set that wasn't there when you were younger. And then as you got older, you start to learn stuff. You start listening to things like the Introvert Dating Success Show, and you got better at dating, and you start learning these skills, okay? And you have these skill sets now that are like, oh my God, I have the power to actually date the kind of women I want to date. I want to try these powers out. So you could get into a situation where you try a few things that you've learned, and that first girl you try it on, boom, you got it. You got a lot. She's interested. She's highly interested in you. She's suggesting dates. She wants to spend all her time with you. And that's all great. Except now you have this skill set that you can no longer use. And you only got to practice and do it once. And now you're not too sure if that one you practiced it on was the right one, because you're like, you know what, this was a little too easy. And sometimes we take for granted things that come to us too easy. So it can be a thing where you have a skill set, you meet a girl, it works out, she's just all about you, and it's so easy that you're like, this is too easy, I need more of a challenge. And so you start doing things as a means of messing up this one so you can practice on another girl and possibly get her. And I know it probably sounds stupid to some of you, like, why would you do that? Because again, it's just like any skill. Picture you spend like 3 or 4 years getting really good at basketball. And then you finally get the game right. You know all the moves, how to bounce pass, how to do dunks, all this stuff. And you play your first game and you win. And then somebody tells you now you can't play basketball anymore. That's kind of how it can feel at times when you learn the skill set of dating the right way. And then you find that one girl, it's like, okay, great. Those skills aren't useful anymore. And you're like, wait, what? No, I want to try more. I want to try more. So you got to be aware that can happen, because otherwise, if you're not, you'll start subconsciously doing things that this guy did, where it's like, you'll be like, oh, I can do whatever. And then I'm going to show pictures of these other girls while this girl's still sitting here. And I've made that mistake. I've made the mistake of having another girl's picture in my phone in some hot lingerie while my girlfriend was here. And I tried to play it off like it's just no big deal. But it's like, at that point, the damage is already done, So you got to be mindful that is a disrespectful thing, but that it's also a thing where, like, again, you might be self-sabotaging for a variety of reasons, whether it's because you want your alone time, whether it's because you want more practice on the court, because you got these skills you want to use now. And all this ultimately is not fair to the woman, because the woman involved, if she's genuinely a nice person and genuinely cares about you, is, putting her heart on the line also. And she doesn't want to be hurt by your selfish actions just because you feel a certain way about things or whatever. So in reference to this guy, like, he's trying to get her back, and he's like, what should he do? So he's gone no contact because, she's not responding to him. And quite honestly, I think that's the best thing you can do. I think in these situations where you definitely messed up, it's, a lot of some guys and some gurus will say like, oh, well, you should never apologize, or you should just be like, well, that situation hurts you, I just won't do it. But there's no sincere apology because it makes us look weak, or it'll make her wear the pants in the relationship. And I genuinely believe that just like if a woman I'm dating messes up or hurts me in some way, I'd expect her to at least acknowledge that and apologize. You as a guy, if you do something that's legit, like, I'm not talking about like little petty things like, oh, you didn't pick up a piece of celery that she wanted in the store or some crap like that, but something like this where it's like you were flagrantly showing off other women in front of her, and you were letting her know that they were coming in on your phone, and then this attitude of like, oh, well, I'm always keeping one foot outside. And that's the thing too, is that a lot of guys that haven't dated for a while and are just starting to get good, they get nervous about the girl that they're with leaving them. So they'll never completely put their foot in to this current relationship because they're always thinking, if at any moment that she leaves, I gotta be ready to go out the door. And again, I've been there, I've done that. And let me tell you, it makes being in a relationship torture because because party is always out the door, the other party is always thinking, this girl's gonna dump me. And you don't know when it's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen, but you gotta be prepared either way. And you would think that should make you more secure, but it really doesn't. It actually just makes you more nervous and more anxious. And it just, it's just not fun. So with time, as you date more and more, you'll have more confidence in yourself as a person and in your ability to, gel well with other people and know how to talk to them. And that'll make you less nervous where you'll be more confident that you're able to hold on to a girl that you're dating. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to always happen, but what it does mean is that you're going to put your best foot forward and know that even if it doesn't work out, you did your absolute best. And that's all that you can really do. And realistically, there's 3 billion women on this planet. You're going to date a few that might not work out. The numbers say that is what it is. Rarely do people meet that first girl, date, and then that's the one that they marry for life. More often than not, you're dating, we'll say average like 3 to 5, maybe 6 girls before you find that one that's long term. And that is okay. And that's not including the number of people you might hook up with, okay? But having this fear that they're going to leave, that's going to make you nervous, you anxious, and it's going to have you treating her worse to the point where you're going to have the thing you're thinking about come true. You're going to do stuff that's going to make her want to leave you, okay? So in this guy's case, I'd recommend, hit her up and say, hey, my bad for the way I was acting. It was uncalled for and you deserve more respect than that. You know what? If you need some time, that's cool. If you decide to hit me up, let me know. And I've been the guy that's had to apologize before where like that. And I just leave it because you want to apologize, but you don't want to beg for forgiveness. There's a difference. Apology is whether we get back together or not, I am letting you understand that I recognize that what I did hurt you and that should not have happened. And you leave it at that. And I find if you do it that way, where you're not saying, but please take me back, blah, 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 then usually they'll think over like, oh, that was a really nice apology. But he didn't ask to get me back, huh? He really cares about how I feel about this. And if that's the thing that's too strenuous for me, that I might not want to get back with him. Maybe I should hear him out. And that's what you want. You want the girl to feel that your apology is genuine enough to where she's willing to meet up with you, hear you out, and then you let her decide if this is something that she wants to continue. So you're not forcing, you're not saying, please take me back, baby, this and that. You're saying, hey, this is what happened. Girls were on my phone. You know what? Those are girls I was talking to a long time ago. And honestly, I wasn't sure how this thing was going. So I kind of kept them in my back pocket, but that wasn't fair to you. So you know what? That's my bad on that. And at the very least, I shouldn't have had him in my phone, but to have him show him in front of you, that was just not called for. And I just want you to know that I recognize that and I apologize. Nowhere on the internet says, now please take me back, because people need to feel like they're making their own decisions about that kind of stuff. And you forcing it is not going to make that happen. So you apologize, you let her say what she has to say, and then you say, okay, great. Well, I just wanted to get that out in the open, thanks for forgiving me. And however you want to go from here is fine. Either way, just know that would not happen again. And that's it. And then she'll decide, okay, it is what it is, and you keep going on. But in these kind of situations too, I also find that once a woman has found that you've done that kind of mistrusting thing, it can make it very hard for her to trust you again. And those kind of relationships where the trust is gone, those are like the worst ones of all, because anytime you go out now or you get a text on your phone, she's going to be wondering, where are you going? Who are you trying to see? Who's that talking to you on your phone? Is that girl that's sending you a picture again? And that gets really annoying. So even if you're in the wrong initially, the repercussions of that long term might make it to where you just got to know that you just know for future relationships not to do this and move on to somebody else. So hopefully that answers that question. For more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can also go to YouTube and iTunes. If you join me on Patreon, you can become a supporter and you will get access to these shows a week before anybody else. You can also show your support by going to the tip jar tab at the website. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you can click on the coaching tab. And if you have a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, you can write to me by going to the website, clicking on the contact tab and sending me a message. Be sure to go to the site on Friday. There will be a link available for you guys to be able to have access to over 400 episodes of my previous podcast, the Stop Losing Women podcast. This is the podcast that's going to help you learn how to meet, greet, attract, date, and stay with the girl of your dreams. And it's a lot of great shows. We cover all areas of topics, from the initial phases of dating to what to do long term. We have some great podcast guests that I interviewed, from women that are dating up to actual experts in the field that have been doing this and have some really, really great insights about things like sex and love and keeping a woman attracted and, answering a lot of questions from guys that had questions about it. It's a really good podcast. And actually, I'm going to have some shows that you can listen to on the website. And if you like those shows and feel like this would be a good thing for you to listen to, then trust me, this whole library of shows is 144 hours of freaking content. So you're going to learn some stuff and you're going to have your life changed. And that's coming out on Friday. So be sure to go to the website, introvertdatingsuccess.com, and click on that link and sign up to have access to those shows on Friday. All right. That's all I got for today. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I will catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.